Hello everyone. Welcome to the Blockchain News Club. The state of New York has taken a bold step forward in the world of cryptocurrency by introducing a bill that would make digital assets a legal form of payment within the state. In response to a question posed by one of his followers, Matt Hamilton, who once served as the Director of Developer Relations at Ripple, has provided his opinion about the reasons why Bitcoin has more widespread use and acceptance than XRP. A commissioner with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has called for a coherent and consistent legal framework that works across all asset classes, including crypto assets. 4 senior White House officials posted a blog yesterday, criticizing Congress for failing to enact cryptocurrency regulations. At a time when regulators are scrutinizing the crypto industry like never before, digital assets bank Custodia hoped the U.S. government would welcome its compliance-first business strategy. The chairman of a newly formed Digital Assets Committee, U.S. Congressman French Hill, has outlined some priorities to regulate the crypto sector and ensure America is the place for fintech and blockchain innovation. We will also be looking at 5 reasons why Ripple XRP might explode in February 2023. Before we dive deep into today's updates, please subscribe to our Blockchain News Club channel. It will help us immensely. With a new bill, New York makes a huge step toward using cryptocurrencies. New York has taken a big step forward in the world of cryptocurrencies by introducing a bill that would make digital assets a legal way to pay in the state. What happened? The bill that was introduced on January 26 laid out changes to the state's current financial law that would make it possible to pay state agencies with cryptocurrencies. New York state agencies will be able to take cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, says the bill. Under the new state law, the document defined cryptocurrencies and named Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash as acceptable ways to pay. In the past few months, regulating and using cryptocurrencies has been a hot topic, and different regulatory agencies have been trying to figure out how to handle them. Also, the South Korean cryptocurrency exchange Bithumb is being looked at for rigging prices. After the industry lost a lot of money in 2022 and fraud was found, there was more pressure to regulate digital assets. Why it's important? With this amendment, New York followed Arizona's recent move to make Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies legal tender in the state. This act changes the state finance law to allow New York state agencies to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment, the bill said. The legal document also explained how to define cryptocurrencies and how state agencies can use them. The bill says, each state agency is allowed to make a deal with a person to allow state offices to accept cryptocurrency as a way to pay for fines, civil penalties, rent, rates, taxes, and other civil duties. Matt Hamilton of Ripple thinks that Bitcoin has dimmed the light on XRP. Matt Hamilton, who used to be the Director of Developer Relations at Ripple, answered a question from one of his followers about why he thinks Bitcoin is more widely used and accepted than XRP. Why XRP wasn't as successful as Bitcoin. Hamilton seems to think that Bitcoin turned down the brightness of XRP. The developer said that Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, but that the XRP ledger was many years ahead of its time. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt campaigns against XRP and Ripple by Bitcoiners and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network slowed down a lot of things, but XRP had a lot of advantages over BTC at the time. He said that no one knew what a DEX or tokenization were in 2012. 11 years later, Bitcoin is the largest cryptocurrency in the world, while XRP is the 6th largest. XRP, which has had problems with the SEC, hasn't done as well as Bitcoin, but it has done some pretty cool things on its own. At the time of this writing, the token is worth $0.4090, which is a 3.3% increase from a week ago. Since XRP is an alternative to Bitcoin, a lot of people have started to use it. This has caused the price to skyrocket over the years. Jed McCaleb and Chris Larson started Ripple in 2011. XRP is the cryptocurrency that Ripple uses as its native coin. There are a total of 100 billion XRP tokens, and the cryptocurrency was already mined before it was made. Compared to Bitcoin, the token is easier to use, has less of an effect on the environment, takes less time to process transactions, and costs less overall. People have gone back and forth about what makes XRP different from Bitcoin. There are some things that both currencies have in common, but there are also big differences, like how they can be used and how they reach a consensus. Even though there have been a lot of disagreements, XRP has stayed as the leading cryptocurrency by market cap and has reached a number of important milestones. A member of the SEC wants a consistent legal framework for all kinds of assets, including cryptocurrency. Commissioner of the SEC for Crypto Regulation, Hester Peirce, a member of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, gave a speech at the Digital Assets at Duke conference. In it, she talked about how crypto should be regulated. Noting that the securities regulator has pursued registration violations in a seemingly random way, often years after the original offering, the commissioner emphasized, "We need to come up with a set of laws that work for all types of assets and are clear and consistent. Our sloppy interpretation of the law has led to random and bad outcomes for crypto projects and buyers. When we insist on applying the securities laws this way, secondary buyers of the token are often left with a bag of tokens they can't trade or use because the SEC requires special handling in line with the securities laws," Peirce warned. Many of these rules are enforced based on strict liability, so it's important to be clear. The commissioner asked, "Why not make a rule that sets out a clear legal framework?" Elaborating, "At the rate we are going with regulation by enforcement, it would take us close to 400 years to get through all the tokens that are supposed to be securities. In contrast, an SEC rule would apply to everyone, but not to the past, as soon as it went into effect," she said. Commissioner Peirce went on to say, "A reasonable framework should make it easier for good faith crypto actors to follow our securities laws. This would allow the SEC to spend more of its resources on bad faith actors." She did warn, though, "It's not easy to make good rules about crypto. If crypto institutions are treated like regular banks, which means they need a lot of capital and a lot of lawyers, innovation in crypto is likely to slow down." This is not the first time Commissioner Peirce has voiced concerns about how the SEC has been regulating the crypto sector. She has said many times that the Securities and Exchange Commission is wrong to focus on enforcement when it comes to regulating the crypto space. She also thinks that a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund should have been approved by the regulators a long time ago. In May of last year, she warned that the SEC has dropped the ball on crypto oversight, saying, "We're not letting innovation and experimentation happen in a healthy way, and there are long-term consequences to this failure." The SEC's focus on enforcement is a problem for more than just Commissioner Peirce. For example, U.S. Congressman Tom Emmer has said bad things about SEC Chairman Gary Gensler many times. In July of last year, a lawmaker said, "Under Chair Gensler, the SEC has become a power-hungry regulator." Officials from the White House criticized Congress for not putting in place crypto regulations. On January 27, 4 high-level White House officials wrote a blog in which they criticized Congress for not regulating cryptocurrencies. They asked lawmakers to work faster on creating a framework for regulating crypto. The White House said that Congress was to blame for the delay in putting together a full national crypto regulatory framework. It gave lawmakers a list of things they could do to stop fraud and bad actors in the crypto sector. The government officials thought that the Congress should do more. The Post listed a few things Congress could do right away to improve consumer protection standards in the crypto space, such as further strengthening the powers of federal regulatory agencies like the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, increasing transparency and disclosure requirements for cryptocurrency companies, assisting law enforcement by increasing funding, toughening penalties for existing finance rules, and improving those rules to penalize intermediaries, enacting legislation to regulate stablecoins. Biden's advisors warned that the newly elected Republican House of Representatives could make things worse by loosening regulations at such a crucial time. The note seems to be about how the new subcommittee on digital assets, financial technology, and inclusion was just announced by the House Republican leadership. The Biden administration did not give crypto regulations enough attention. But crypto regulations were not a top priority for President Joe Biden during the 2 years when Democrats ran the White House, the House, and the Senate, from early 2021 until a while ago. During this time, the collapse of UST in May and the collapse of the $32 billion crypto exchange FTX in November shook the crypto industry. Several bills about cryptocurrency are being talked about in Washington right now, but none of them have been voted on yet. In December, the Senate introduced the Stablecoin Trust Act, which would make payment stablecoins subject to federal rules. Since June of last year, the Senate has been working on the Loomis-Gillibrand Responsible Financial Innovation Act, which would give the CFTC the power to regulate crypto. The Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act, which was introduced last August, would have made it harder for the SEC to regulate the crypto industry in the same way. Sam Bankman-Fried, who used to be the CEO and founder of FTX, pushed hard for it in Washington. Also, he had given both Republican and Democratic politicians tens of millions of dollars. Custodia, a crypto bank in Wyoming, denied membership in Federal Reserve System. At a time when regulators are looking at the crypto industry more closely than ever before, Custodia, a digital assets bank, hoped that the U.S. government would like its business strategy of putting compliance first. The central bank, on the other hand, didn't agree and turned down the Wyoming bank's request to join the Federal Reserve System. In a press release, the Federal Reserve said, the firm's new business model and plans to focus on crypto assets pose significant safety and soundness risks. Caitlin Long, CEO and co-founder of Custodia, decried the Fed's decision and reaffirmed the validity of her application. Custodia offered a safe, federally regulated, solvent alternative to the reckless speculators and grifters of crypto that penetrated the U.S. banking system, she said in a statement posted to Twitter. Membership in the Federal Reserve System allows any state-chartered bank access to tax benefits, investment opportunities, and other conveniences. But what was maybe even more important for Custodia was the potential for a substantial public relations win, a chance to show cryptocurrencies increasing acceptance at the highest levels of government. The denial of Custodia is another example of how the federal government has become more aggressive toward crypto in recent months. The SEC and DOJ have launched high-profile investigations into the now-defunct cryptocurrency exchange FTX, and Congress has made the issue of how to regulate crypto a hot-button issue. And Long, a veteran of Wall Street who has helped pass 24 crypto-friendly laws in Wyoming as of 2021, was not deterred by the Fed's decision. In her statement, she said, "The board's decision is unfortunate, but it is in line with the concerns Custodia has raised about how the Federal Reserve handles its applications, an issue we will continue to fight over." Long's comment refers to a lawsuit that Custodia brought against the central bank over the Fed's long delay in ruling on Custodia's application for a master account, a key permission that lets banks transfer funds with each other and the Fed directly favorable rates. In its complaint, Custodia asked a federal judge not only to process its application but to give it a favorable ruling. Long's comment suggests the company will litigate the merit of this week's decision by the Fed. Despite the denial of Custodia's application, the Fed said in an accompanying press release that it was open to granting membership to banks who hold crypto assets if their safekeeping services are conducted in a safe and sound manner and in compliance with consumer, anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing laws. A U.S. lawmaker lists the things that need to be done to regulate crypto and make the U.S. the place where blockchain technology is developed. In an interview with CNBC on Thursday, U.S. Congressman French Hill, who was just named chairman of the newly formed Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Financial Technology, and Inclusion, talked about some of his subcommittee's priorities related to crypto. When asked if the U.S. should have a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, he said that it is something that his subcommittee wants to look into. The representative said, "You'll see us talk about a federal law about privacy. You will see us talk about a bill about stable coins. You will see us look into what this means for the stock market and work with the House and Senate Agriculture Committees on the commodity side of things." Rep. Hill said that the new Digital Assets Committee will also talk about how to keep track of cryptocurrency trading and exchanges. That's all on the table, and it will be a top priority this year. So far, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has approved some Bitcoin futures ETFs, but it has not yet approved a spot Bitcoin ETF. "We want to make sure that fintech and blockchain innovations happen in America. Blockchain is an important area for innovation," the lawmaker from Arkansas said. "We want that kind of technology to be made in the U.S. We want a set of rules that is clear for developers, investors, and potential users as they try to show a use case. And finally, we want to make sure that everyone knows everything about this." Rep. Hill said, "We want to make sure that America is the place for innovation in fintech and blockchain, and distributed ledger technology is part of that fintech future." He said that changes can be gradual instead of completely upsetting. The lawmaker said, "This is an important area for our country. I urge Democrats and Republicans to work together on it. We need this regulatory framework, and we need to work together to get it. If we don't, we'll keep seeing the same chaos that we saw last year when companies across the industry filed for bankruptcy in the spring. That doesn't help the developers, the industry, or innovation, and it doesn't help investors or customers, either." Here are the top 5 reasons why Ripple could go crazy in February 2023. Whales effect. Over the past 24 hours, XRP crypto whales bought up to $70 million worth of XRP tokens in multiple transactions. This shows how powerful cryptocurrencies are. Whale Alert says that XRP tokens worth $29.1 million were sent from a wallet no one knew about to Bitstamp. Soon after, 30,200,000 tokens, worth $12,867,050, were moved from Bitso to a wallet that no one knew about. Strong partnerships. Strategic partnerships are a key part of how a business plans to grow. And the same is true for XRP. Ripple has teamed up with more than 100 banks, such as Santander in the US, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce in Canada, and Kotak Mahindra Bank in India. Social dominance. XRP has one of the biggest social dominances, which can easily lead to price spikes in the future. At the time of this writing, XRP is worth about $0.4058 and has a 24-hour trading volume of $877,832,945. The price of the coin has gone up by 4.41% in the past week, and there are hints that it will go up even more in the very near future. Ripple's post-SEC future. One of the most recent developments in the case between the SEC and Ripple is that U.S. District Court Judge Annalisa Torres ruled against the SEC's objections to providing emails sent by William Hinman, former Finance Division Director. Based on the recent price rise, there is a chance that XRP will reach 50 cents by the end of February 2023. But if Ripple wins its case against the SEC, the price could go up even more than $1. Ripple XRP expansion in Asia. Asia is one of the largest markets for financial technologies and cryptocurrencies. This is something that everyone knows. XRP has done well on the market, especially in South Asian countries like Japan, where financial institutions have been using it to settle transactions. The case could make a big difference in the price of XRP. The CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, has also confirmed that the decision is probably going to be made in the first half of the year. If Ripple Labs wins, the price could go beyond the all-time high of $3.40 because exchanges might relist the asset for a larger audience. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for regular updates in the blockchain community.